Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So I was talking with a buddy of mine earlier, and he had been single for a while, and now he's going on the first date in a while. I don't know how long, be a few years. And he's out of practice. The guy's 59 years old, and he's asking me, how to act and what to do. And I kind of laughed at him. I didn't know if I was making him feel bad by teasing him and by laughing at him, but I guess we get out of practice. I kind of thought it was like riding a bike, and once you get to a certain level of experience, that you just kind of know how to act around women, and you know how to act on dates, just like you would know how to go on a job interview. You've had a job before, so do what you did before, right? But I guess we forget. So let's go over it. If you haven't been out there in the dating scene in a while, and you're dating and you just don't know what to do, here's what you do. I'm going to tell you the same thing that your goddamn grandmother used to tell you. The same thing that your mom used to tell you. The same advice that everybody's going to tell you. Be yourself. Don't dress in weird clothes that you never dress in. You're going to feel awkward. Dress nice, just like a bum, but dress in clothes that you're familiar with, that you know make you look good, that you feel comfortable in, that you feel good in. If you're sitting there fucking with yourself or standing weird, or just every time you see yourself in a reflection, you just kind of feel like a loser, this isn't the outfit I would normally wear, don't wear it. If you're going to try to impress somebody, the best way to do it is by not trying, right? The key is to just be yourself. Don't try to act like you're someone you're not. A lot of guys out there want to pretend like that they're not, and maybe it's not pretend. They're incredibly successful, and they want to sit there and run their mouth about how they've done in business, how many millions of dollars they've made, about their car, their house, their vacations, all that kind of stuff. Shut up. That's the advice I'm going to tell you. Keep your fool mouth shut. Just ask questions. Get to know her. This is your opportunity to get to know this other person and to decide if she is going to be somebody that you want to date. Decide if she's relationship worthy. You really want to inspect, what kind of person she is. So ask questions about her life. Ask questions about her interests. Ask questions about if she's interested in spirituality, creativity, fitness, health, travel. Just find out. By the end of that date, you should know everything about, as a lot about this chick. You don't have to sit and give long-winded answers about yourself. When you're asked something about yourself, give short, direct answers. Don't go on and on and on for sentences and paragraphs. And if you find yourself talking for more than a minute on anything, more than 2 minutes, Jesus Christ, that's like a monologue. Shut up. Let her talk. This is a big problem for some guys because they really want to put themselves out there in a way. They feel like, well, let me show off who I am. If you're some kind of muscle guy, don't be sitting there talking about your muscles. Don't be talking about yourself. Engage in conversation that you guys can both have input in. If you feel like that you're bragging, she's going to take that as kind of like you're one of these douchebag guys, you're boring, you're not interested, so be interested in her because this is your chance to learn about somebody. You don't want to get into a relationship and learn about all this stuff that you could have asked on the first date. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. I've failed to ask the right questions. You got to ask the right questions, and it doesn't have to be a big deal. Pay for dinner, open doors, do all the chivalry stuff. I don't care about the fucking way people are these days, if that's chivalry or women's lib, feminism, fuck all that. Be a gentleman. Open the doors, pay for dinner, keep your mouth shut, and have a good time and just be yourself. And at the end of the night, don't expect sex. Don't even look for it. You can get a peck, a little kiss and a hug, and, say that you'll talk in a day or two or whatever, and go out again if you feel the vibe, but Don't turn it into a one-night stand. That's no way to go into a relationship. You're not going to be in a serious, loving relationship with anybody that you fuck on the first date. It's not going to happen. It's very rare. Maybe it's happened somewhere in some fairy tale, but it's very, very, very rare. You're much better off getting to know somebody first. And that way, when you get to that level of intimacy, it's not awkward. It's, it feels natural, and you can really kind of save yourself some time, because once you fuck her, you could have a boring date and figure she's a boring girl. You go home with her and fuck her on that first date, and you're going to get all punch drunk. You're going to be all like, oh, well, maybe I could do this, and next thing you know, you're in another bad relationship. And if you've been single for a while and you're just coming out of it and you're looking to get back into the dating scene and you have some dates, don't blow it. Don't stab yourself in the foot. Don't just get into a relationship with the first girl who's willing to spread her legs. If she's willing to spread her legs on the first date, she's not marrying material. It's just the way it is. You're more mature now. You don't have to have these notches on your bedpost. Now, if you want to do the one night stand, that's fine. It's up to you. It's your life. Just make sure that you realize what you're getting into, that this person is not relationship material, because healthy relationships, loving relationships that last a long time, that turn into marriages, don't start from one night stands. It's just a rule. I don't waste my time texting and doing all that kind of bullshit after I've dropped a chick off at her house. That's it. The date's over. I'm not texting you all night long and extending it like that. I don't do that. If you play those kinds of games, it's up to you. I don't know nothing about that. I typically will let a day's rest and then contact them, at a later point in the week, and give everybody a chance to think about if they're interested or decompress or whatever. And that way, you really go into this with natural expectations. The best way to be for guys going into a date like this, if you haven't been dating in a long time, is to, and I'm not saying be apathetic, but to not care, because there's a lot of anxiety. Am I going to perform well enough? I don't want to be single, and I like this girl. I think she's pretty, and I really want this to work out well. Get rid of all of that. Get rid of all that expectation bullshit. Don't care. Just look at it as a night out. When I go out on a first date with a woman, I just look at it as a night out. What could I could be sitting at home on the computer working. I could be in the shop working. I could be sitting on the couch, on Facebook, sitting there just wasting time. There's a lot of things I could be doing tonight. But instead, I'm at dinner, on the town, whatever the activity is, with this pretty girl, and we'll just have a good time. So don't expect anything other than that, than just having a decent time, platonic time. The expectations will kill you. And that's where people end up acting like idiots. And I just talked to a buddy of mine. He's a little bit younger than me, but not by much. And he is also single, and he went on a date after he went through a long breakup with an ex-girlfriend, and then finally felt ready to start dating again. And the first date didn't go well. And so I asked him, well, what happened? And he broke a lot of the cardinal rules. And he sat there the entire time running his mouth about himself. And when you do that, you just really release too much information. There's certain conversations that are taboo as well. Don't talk about politics. I know we're in a political climate. I don't care if you're at Olive Garden and they got TVs going and they're showing riots and all this kind of stuff. Don't talk about it. Don't get into politics, because it's not that you're going to scare people off. You might be a nut, but it's just not the type of topics you want to get into. Don't get into heavy duty religion. Don't get into your past. Don't get into ex-girlfriends or ex-wives. It's not worth mentioning. If you're asked a question, have you ever been married? And you have been, say, yes, I have, but don't go into anything about it at all. At all. Nothing. Keep your fool mouth shut. Just let her talk. Don't go in like my buddy sitting here telling this chick, I did 10 years in Rikers. I got PTSD. Shut your full mouth. What, you think that's going to impress a woman? Wait till the second date to tell her that you went to Rikers. What the hell's wrong with you? So have a little bit of tact and be yourself and drop any of the expectations. People come off of a first date and say, well, she just didn't seem right, and they move on. You never know. People grow on you as you get to know them. Everybody feels awkward on a first date. Women do also, not just us guys. The women do also. And it's hard to really be yourself sometimes when you're, especially if it's a blind date. But I mean, some of the people that start off that could be awkward and weird and you just don't really know, they don't seem like they're pretty enough, they don't seem like they're interesting enough, you just don't know. This could be your next wife. It's worth a second date as long as the first date goes well. And to me, a first date that goes well is where there's no drama. We just simply go through the motions of getting to know some basic information about each other. The most important thing for me is the vibe, the energy. Is there any kind of energy there? Is there a sexual tension there that's important? If you feel like this is your sister, your lesbian sister, and you guys are just kind of like buddies, like bros, that's not a girlfriend, that's not a wife. You know, there has to be sexual tension and attraction there initially. You can tell, your brain will be able to tell you, guys know this, we can tell if that if we're attracted to a girl within seconds. And the same thing with women. Women know if they're attracted to a man within 2 or 3 seconds. I mean, it doesn't take a long time. But we're not kids anymore. Attraction comes a lot from who you are and somebody's lifestyle, somebody's choices, the way their mind works, the things that they have accomplished, all kinds of things. That can really turn you on. I've met women where, I met this one woman, she was a DJ at a radio station, and she was married. She wasn't wearing her wedding ring. And I don't know, maybe that's a thing now, I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing, but she wasn't wearing her wedding ring. I found out later she was married. I just fell in love with her, and it wasn't because she was so beautiful. It was just because she was doing so much. She was the type of person that I really thought was just amazing. I really was impressed with who she was. So there's more than just looks. And that's why it's important to get to know somebody. And that's why the more you get to know them, the more beautiful they can become. And somebody who starts off awkward and geeky and weird could end up being the most beautiful, amazing person that you've ever met in your life if you just give them a chance. But in order to do that, you have to shut your fucking dumb mouth. You have to let the girl talk. You have to stop bragging. Don't wear fucking crazy cologne and your Rolex watch. And just be a normal guy. Thanks for watching. Have fun.